20 seconds. Again, if you guys are looking to take the breakout's looking like it's going to be a a buy for the day. I've marked up the SR zones over here for the zone to zone trading that CJ mentioned yesterday. I actually did a lot of testing and it works really well. So I'll be looking to maybe get into these entries if I see something good. So I'm not going to get in right away. We got price kind of spiking back and forth. This is kind of what happened over the week with regard to the breakout. The breakout's been kind of choppy today, or not today, but just in general. So let me go over here. This is a 10-minute time frame. I don't know what's up. Everything's so laggy. My my trading view is super laggy right here too. Okay, there we go. I'm going to mark up some structure here. Yeah, so anyways, it looks like YM on the 10-minute is still very choppy. It's not choppy, it's in a range. It's been in this range for a while, as you guys can see. It hasn't really gone anywhere from yesterday till today, till the day before, like the day before yesterday. Um, I'm just drawing this up so you can kind of see where the structure's at. So yeah, the 10-minute right there is very choppy, as you guys can see. It's going to be really tricky to take, that daily entry when it comes up, but if it does come up, which it might, uh, what I'll be looking for is I'll be looking for price to kind of get near the resistance up here and then possibly come back down. So like maybe come up, retest the London high, and then come back down. But we'll see, when we get closer to that point. Um, Anyways, we'll be looking for some possible opportunities over here. Let me see where price moves so far. So market open on this red candle right here. Some big spikes back and forth. So I had a big spike to the downside, about 60 points, and then a push back up. So I like the SR tool here, but the problem with the SR tool is that it's very messy, right, in a sense. So I'll try to I'll try to leave it up. Hopefully it doesn't get in our way too much. But we'll just kind of see how this goes from there. If it gets too messy, I might have to just open a separate chart just with the SR zones. But as of now, I'll just put it on the main chart right now. So we don't really have much movement. You guys can see each candle here is very choppy, very wicky. Um, we'll kind of just wait and see what happens when price continues to obviously move along. Need to log into my accounts real quick. There. See if there's more. Oh, duh. See. New accounts here on the hedge. So we get a pending sell signal here. I wouldn't really look to take any entries at the moment, guys. It's way too messy. Um, yeah, it's way too messy. So I just took off the SRs right there just a little bit so we can kind of see a little better. But I need the SRs to be able to take my trades if I'm looking to take those zone to zone entries. So for example, here, I'm gonna give you guys an example of a zone entry if it does come up soon. CJ is not here right now, but yeah, Masij said it's time. Thanks for the link, Masij. I will take a look at that. Got two of this configurations for two. Oh, it's cheap, 2,200 each. So 14 core 32 GPU. You think that's good enough? Is this okay? So I was trying to choose between the M4 and the M3. Do you think that it's a big difference, Masij? Because I don't want to get it if it's like I feel like they come out with these new chips like every 2 years, and the Mac Studio hasn't came out with a new chip since like I think last year or the year before. And that's why I was kind of waiting for like summer or whenever they announce for the new one. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'll keep take a look at that, but gosh, okay. Yeah, no, definitely. Honestly, I've been looking at new computers like for the past couple weeks now because of this lag. It's like it's so annoying. I don't know why it does that, but it is. It does do that, and it happens so often. Yeah. I'm setting up my accounts real quick. The hedge, the hedge fund. There's always like every day. There's like, sorry guys, I have to go check on Alina real quick. She's awake. All right, I'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, just step back for a little bit. I'm gonna be going in and out of the stream because Alina's awake right now. So, uh, she's like really needy right now. Let's see, we're neutral for fundamentals. All right, there's nothing here right now. Update the algo entries here. 34, 54, 56, 706, 19. All right, so we got that right there. I'm gonna update this because this is what we have for the week, basically. All right, we just got a lot of chop here, guys. So there's not much to do. There's nothing to take here right now, anyways. So you guys are not really missing out on much or anything really. I'll draw some structure over here. You guys can see there's not really much to do because price is kind of just sitting within this area. I'll be looking for some possible. I know the chart looks a little messy because I have the SRs, the support and resistance indicator on. So like what I'm looking for here is we currently have a sell signal. I'm looking for price to push below here and basically close. Let me see if I can. So I'm basically looking for price to push below here, close below here, and then if it does close below here, I'm gonna look to get a limit order right here at 610. Try to ride this down right there to this lower area. So about a move like that. That's only if we have the sell signal and price stays below the pivots. If we get a buy signal and price pushes above, then I'll be looking for price to actually push above here, retest from that point, and then ride this up a little bit to like the next zone up here. So there's just a couple different things I'll be looking for here for the most part. Let me put a zone down here. We might get that sell entry here. I'm going to be taking this on my prop accounts, not really on my personal accounts. Or not personal accounts, but not on the hedge accounts because these are a little risky. For my actual accounts, like for the hedge clients, I'll be looking for that 10-minute entry, which we don't have yet. We may get it because we do have a 5-minute momentum signal right here, but if we do get it on the 10, then I'll probably be looking for that. That'll be in the next probably 9 minutes or so. I haven't tried putting an order in. All right, here, let's see if I can do this. So 610s where I was looking to put that entry from. It's not really looking like it's gonna fill, but try to give it a shot there.
Order submitted. Order
Yeah, I
submitted.
don't know if it's gonna fill. So I was looking for it to retrace back right here so it could fill and then come back down. But if it doesn't fill in this candle, which I don't think it's going to, I'm probably gonna cancel it. We got about 20 seconds left on this candle right here. Yeah, it's not looking like it's gonna fill. All right, I'll step away for 1 second, guys, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry. I'm gonna be stepping in and out of the stream a lot because my daughter Elena, she's at the age where she's like super awake and she's just like really needy right now. So there's one of I mentioned this before, guys. There's gonna be like one day out of the week where I'm gonna have my daughter, and it's right now she's like in a crazy mode where it's she's like she's super needy and she needs me to be there. But anyways, so this intro here didn't fill. I was trying to get in for this zone to zone trading right here. This broken close below that structure didn't come back to retest it, so I just ended up canceling the order. Price broke again below this structure right here, but there was no really entry point. The entry point would have happened right here, but the problem with this is that it pushed away so far that I don't think I would have tried to get in at this point. Um, I mean, it could have been an entry, but there's no other structure below for me to reach, right? I'm looking for it to trade between zone to zone, but there was no lower zones here. Let me go over here to the 10 minute. So the 10 minute just closed right there. Let's see where the entry, there's an entry here actually and it looks like it already filled. I don't know if anybody got into this right here, but there was an entry here at the 500 price. So let's see, I gotta flip these back over real quick to my right, to basically all of the accounts. Yeah, there was a 10-minute entry there that came up with 500. I don't know if anybody got into it, but I gotta switch over from my prop accounts to my hedge accounts real quick. And I'll see if I get into this a little later, but 70, 47, 500. I mean, it hasn't hit yet, so there's still opportunity right there. 47, 500. Yeah, that's right. Let me check the news as well. Sure, there's no news today that I should be aware of. It's just gas stock changed for today. Um, so if you guys are looking to get into it, it looks like it may provide opportunity right here for entry. I'm not in it yet. Let's see. Yeah, I might hold off on this one right here. I was trying to get into it right now. I was still trying to set it up. The entries were like right. It's you could get in at a discount right now if you really want to get into it. I just don't like the way it currently looks at the moment. Take a look at the other assets. Yeah, because the other assets are bullish. So NQ, ES, and gold are all bullish. The 1 minute's like actually looking pretty decent as it comes back down right here. Um, yeah, so let's see. I just don't like how it's sitting up here at the structure right now. Let me see how far it needs to push down to. So this is the 75 to 100. I'm gonna see how this candle here closes. And then if anything, I'll just get in for like a market order and just get in for a discount. Let me see how price reacts to this area right here. It's currently in this structure. This is a support turn resistance. Looks like a break and retest of the area. See, I don't like here on the 1 minute. It looks like it flaked out and it's pulling back up right now as we speak. So this might have been a good skip. It's a good thing I missed it actually. Yeah, so I didn't get into that trade right there. I was looking to maybe get into it late. I'm glad I didn't. Look how the volatility here is starting to pick up like very quickly. Um, yeah, maybe it was a good thing I had to step away for a second. because this here would have been a loss for the daily entry. So I don't know if anybody got into that daily entry right there. The one thing that I would have been concerned about with this daily entry is that this candle here was huge, right? This big red candle. This candle right here for the signal was it was almost a 300 point candle. So there's always risk when there's a candle that big, because when the candle is that big, it's usually due for some retracement, and if it retraces up, it might reverse on you. So I didn't get into that position. I don't know if anybody else jumped into that one. I think that's it right there. Yeah, I just saw the messages. You have 14 monitors, Missy. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know if the I don't know if the Mac Studio has a what's it called? I think there's a is there a max for how many monitors you can have? I think you might have said that in the chat, but I know on the Mac, just the regular Mac, there is a max, which is weird. I don't know why they have that. So I'm looking over here on the 10-minute ATR, guys. It's actually really high. Usually the 10-minute ATR is closer to like 10, but right now it's currently it's at 100. It's really, really high. So there's no entry here on Monday. I'm just gonna put this in real quick. Or Tuesday, actually. That's for my stats. No entry. And then for today, I think this would have been a loss, which is fine. I'm just gonna mark it up so I know. Yeah, so I didn't take this entry, luckily, but it was a loss for today. I was looking for some legitimate entries. I gotta step away again for 1 second, guys, and I'll be right back. I'll try to get back as soon as possible, but I'm gonna step away for 1 second. All right, guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go do some stuff again. Let's see. So we got a lot of back and forth here. There's the algo entry right here at 706, if anybody got into that. It's like a hit. Not sure if you caught that, CJ. But yeah, it looks like the algo entry right there hit at 706. It was a little tricky because price was like in a super choppy area. There were a couple good confluences here though. So like for example, we had this higher high with the red candle, which indicated, bearish move, reversal. And then we had a break and retest off this structure right here, but it was just kind of in this range. So like it's a little tricky. And it did spike to target right there, and then it ended up coming right back up. Let me check the previous algo entries. I'm gonna turn off the SR just for right now because there's no need for it right now at the moment. Um, yeah, because there's no SR zones down here, so it's kind of pointless. But anyways, like looking at what I mentioned right here, so we had a sell signal, price provided opportunity right there for the sell, and then price came right back down. Um, but I think it would just be like this would just be a little too tricky for me to want to take it because for one, this red candle didn't close below the momentum, so it's technically it would have been in drawdown if we were watching it from this perspective. Um, and there's just a lot of reasons for me not to want to take that. I would just say it's in chop. That's like the main reason for it. Looking over here at 630, so we had let's see. 630. Yeah, this would be in chop again as well. I mean, it's been in chop for like a while now, as you guys can see. Very choppy up here, very choppy down here. It's just choppy all throughout. 634. I mean, technically, if you want to take this, but again, this whole area is just chop. So I wouldn't have taken any trades within this upper area right here. So 630, 634, both chop. 654, which was somewhere around here. I mean, again, this is also chop. Let me mark structure up right here so you can see what I'm talking about. There's just chop at so many different levels. There's chop up here, chop right here, chop down here, and then a big range. And it's kind of just coming, it's sitting between this chop right here, basically. This is the big range. And then it just chops up between different sections. Chop right here, push down, chop right there, and it comes back, middle chop right here. And then it comes back down a little lower. So I'm just looking at the algo entries for today, 630, 634, 654. This is all these areas are like areas of chop. 656, same thing. It's still within this lower area. And then 706. Until price really breaks out of this area, like say push below here and put and drop lower, then I would look for some sells and then vice versa. If price was to push up here, I would look for some buys, right? I just want to get out of this boxed in area. It's not really a good area to be trading in. Zoom out a little bit. Yeah, it's a mess. It's been like this all week, surprisingly. I was expecting the market to be a little more directional. I think because the war has kind of cooled down a little bit. So the war's still going on in Iran, but it's not as crazy as it was last week, right? Like the bombings aren't as as consistent, and it's really just Trump kind of talking a lot, right? It's Trump he keeps telling people that the war is going to be over soon. He's been saying that for like 2 days now. It's not over soon. It's still going. So I think because of that specific reason, there's just a lot of different factors that are kind of causing price tag move up and down, of course. Um, Specifically oil prices that keep going up and with no end to the war in sight. So with that being the case, there's a lot of back and forth, just wishy-washy movement here where price keeps going back and forth instead of a directional down or a directional up. So, um, yeah, I mean, there's not really much to play around with here. Again, like I said, I'm not really looking for entries until price pushes above here or below here. I might look for some trades in between, but I mean, at this very moment, not so much. Um, did you run the bot today, Masish? Sorry, I've been like in and out of the chat, so I haven't even looked at your guys' messages. Oh wow, okay. I'm surprised there's no trades. Well, I mean that's probably good because it's so choppy, right? Yeah. So Masij actually didn't take any trades today, which let me just look. I just want to take a quick glance to see if there's anything that I might have maybe seen. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't take anything. It didn't take like an MPS right here. I guess because it was at the session. That's probably a red flag. But yeah, because there was an MPS that came down right here. I would have thought maybe it would have jumped into a later MPS there because there's a sell signal retracement, and then it kind of confirmed the trend right here. So there was an MPS right there if anybody like kind of jumped into that. Um, Not really an MPS to the upside. Possibly a higher high reversal right there. No, the bottom looks too big. Yeah, there's only one real entry here that I would have seen the bot maybe take. Not like I think the only thing I could tell here why it wouldn't take the trade is because there was a sessions right there. There is the London low and then also the New York low right here. Gosh, okay, yeah, the blocker was all day. Order flow volatility, never seen it before. Bot was seeing the order flow. It's messed up in all kinds of ways right now. Almost all criteria is based off order flow dynamics. Okay, gotcha. For your order flow, Masich, because I've seen some people, other quants, they use like outside data to 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 use order flow on TradingView. Is that what you use too, or do you use something built in? Because I'm assuming you're using the TradingView data set, right? Or the data that's available. Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, because I follow a couple other quants and they do the same thing. So they get the tick data from like an outside source and then they connect it to through API through TradingView. I'm assuming that's what you do too. All right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, Message to yeah. This is a note for the bot. You will need a Polygon subscription of 150 a month. Yeah, that's fine. I think that'd be worth the cost, right? Yeah, it's interesting. I've been like digging deeper and deeper into like because you guys do things very differently on the quant side when you guys develop things. I mean, there's different programs and stuff that you. I didn't realize you could do that where you can use an outside source of data specifically for like tick data or I mean, you would need tick data for uh for order flow. Um, but yeah, I mean, I never thought you could do that. And there's so much you can do with the API too. It's pretty interesting. All right, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna turn off my hedge accounts and I'm gonna flip back to my prop accounts because the uh the trade's already done or the hedge today. So I'll be looking to get into some possible scalps here on my prop accounts. The hedge accounts, they're not taking any trades right now because the daily entry is already over with. Let's see what we got here. Do you like Polygon versus Data Bento, Masish? I feel like those are the two main ones that people use. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't tell the difference between the two, but I hear that those two are like the main ones that are like for the most part used. But yeah, that makes sense. It's good to know. Yeah, Miss said I'm not even using TradingView anymore. Everything is run through APIs. The APIs populating the market data in real time. TradingView endpoints were too slow. Yeah, no, it's slow. It is. I like TradingView mainly for analysis, but like, yeah, for data, it's just way too slow. And like, like we mentioned before, like there's always lag. It's not sometimes not even the computer or the internet connection. It's just TradingView in general. So these candles sometimes they gap sometimes they gap when they shouldn't be gapping. And that's usually like for example, right here, this is like a data issue in a sense, because they should be connected for the most part, but like sometimes you do have those little gaps. Gotcha, okay. Let's use data bento for the algo back test. Makes sense. All right, guys, there's like literally nothing going on right now. So just on another note, I don't know if you guys have been following, well, some of you guys have been following, but the sports betting that we've been doing, guys, it's been like crazy. It's been crazy accurate. Like yesterday, we had four out of the five games that won. So if anybody's looking to get into sports betting, or if you're already familiar with sports betting and you want to get into the other group, it's completely free. I'm kind of just building that community right now at the moment. And I saw your messages right here, Message. But anyways, this is what the community looks like. It's another Discord. I posted the link in our Discord here for Cody Kai. But if you guys want to do sports betting, if you guys are interested, it's all completely free right now. I mean, obviously in the future there'll be like a premium option, but I'm just posting all my stuff free right now. It's I basically created like an AI game sports predicting bot or whatever it may be. And what it does is it takes into consideration all the technicals, fundamentals, breaking news, quantitative data, etc. And it spits out probabilities of like the best games for the day. Like for example, we had all these games right here. All of the safest because we had five games and there was like 1 to 5. All the top four right here all hit and they all won. Um, you guys might not be familiar with the teams, but it was the Minnesota Wild, Dallas Stars, Houston Rockets, San Antonio Spurs, and then the Timberwolves. It was a loss. It was a money line against the Lakers. I was hoping the Lakers were going to lose. I like the Lakers, but I was hoping they'd lose. It was the only game that lost, but everything else won. And the people who took it did pretty well. So like these are the profits from like yesterday. So. This started off as like a fun thing on the side, but there's a lot of money in this. Like my accounts right now, I started these accounts with like 400 bucks, I think, at the beginning of the month, and it's up to 900 for, so it's up like 50%, 50 something percent. So yeah, it started off as like kind of a fun thing, but I started to realize there's a lot of money in sports betting if you can be correct, a good amount. I think for this month so far, we're currently at 10 wins out of 12 games. So it's been pretty on point. Um, so yeah, if you guys are interested in that sports betting and stuff, um, feel free to jump in on it. It's going to be free for a while. I'm not really looking to charge for it because I'm still doing a lot of testing. I'm still trying to figure out how things work. I'm brand new to sports betting, but it's not that difficult. Yeah, Alina Sports Picks, what a great name. Yeah, I always name things after others rather than myself. I didn't want to keep everything within the Cody Kai spectrum because like what happened with the hedge fund. Now that I have the hedge fund, I can't really call things Cody Kai anymore because they can't overlap. So yeah. But it's gonna be cool because for that company specifically, like I specifically named it Alina Sports Trades because uh I started a company for my daughter. So like when my daughter turns 18, I'll be able to transfer that company over to her and she'll be able to it'll be an H business. So like that business will be 18 years old by then, and then it'd be generating money for those 18 years, and she'll have like a basically a business that could run and like and get a business loan and operate like it's been around forever as she turns 18. So I'm just thinking into the future. If you guys are not familiar with that stuff, just look into like H businesses and how you get like business loans that are like really big. Because if you have a new business, banks are not going to give you a loan. But if you have a business that's been running for like 18 years and it shows that it's been making consistent money year over year, you'll be able to get like, like a 10, $20 million loan. And that's like usually how people get into real estate because they have H businesses where they can get these huge SBA loans and stuff. Yeah. It's just it's part of the wealth game. Once you guys start to learn more about money, you start to learn about a lot of these little tricks that wealthy people do, and you just kind of think into the future. All right, so there's a possible price broke and close past this lower low right here, guys, but there's no lower structure, so I wouldn't really take this trade here. This would have been another zone to zone entry. So a retest of that level right there, and then a possible push to the downside. There's a I mean, there's no structure down here. So this is why I wouldn't take this trade because like when you're trading zone to zone, you want to have an area where price will push to. There's probably a structure on the higher time frames, but I'm not necessarily looking on the higher time frames. I'm looking at the 10-minute right now. There's actually no structure anywhere nearby. The next structure is pretty far down. It's at 47,081, which is the 5-minute support level. So I mean, technically, if you guys want to take this trade right here, it's currently running. But yeah, let me go on the 5-minute. Yeah, so the support level is like way down here. And I don't really hold this position for that long. It's a long push to the downside. But the trade is running right now. There's just no visible support level or structure or anything for price to really reach to. So yeah, this trade could probably play through, and it looks like it's gonna play through right there. Now I'm like kind of kicking myself. I'm like, damn, I should have taken the trade, but it's okay. So this is a high-low break and retest that we talked about. This week and last week. So you guys can see right here, there's a lower low and it has a green candle. So this right here pretty much invalidated the fact that the buyers were no longer in control and it flipped to the sell side. So this trade's currently running right now. I just realized that this was a lower low with the green candle. There you go, full TP on that trade right there. Yeah. Now I'm like, fuck, I should have taken the trade. This is where it becomes a little bit of an issue when you start to overlap strategies because so for the SR zone to zone strategy, which is what I was looking for, I was looking for a lower structure for me to reach, right? If I had a support level right here, then I would have been like, okay, great, I'll take this trade because I have a target to reach, right? Um, but then again, this right here was a lower low with the green candle. So this was in a sense similar to a triple confluence, right? Because it had a zone to zone type entry, but then it also had a break and retest for a high low right there. But again, like I said, the support level is like way down here. So I mean, technically, if you wanted to write it down like 300 points, you technically could, but I don't like holding on to positions for that long. Okay, so there goes that. Yeah. Now I'm like, it's always like hindsight 2020, right? When you see the trade play through, you're like, and you start looking at the confluences that played in the favor of your trade, you're like, fuck, I should have taken that trade. But it's okay. I'm glad that the trade played through. I just wasn't looking for a high-low breaking retest. I was mainly looking for a zone to zone, and the zone was just way too far for me. So it's all good. I think some of you guys might have taken it, maybe CJ, because I know CJ's been looking at these zone to zone entries. Karen's asking, what do you execute the bets platform broker? Depending on where you're located, Karen, you might have better options. I use BetUS because I'm in California, so sports betting is technically not. You can sports bet in California, but sports books can't take your bet. That's like the law. So like if you can find a way around it and use an offshore broker, I'm using an offshore broker right now. There's a couple other options for myself. Like I could travel to Nevada, which is like 3 hours away, and I can place my bets there. Um, But if I want to do it online, I have to use an offshore. So I think I don't know where you're located, Karen, but I think where you're located, if you're in Florida or somewhere on the East Coast or even Midwest, there's more options for sports betting. Like you can use like legitimate US sports betting sites. Um, like MGM, I don't know what the other ones are, FanDuel. There's a whole bunch of options if you're not in California. But if you're in California, they're strict here. So I have to use an offshore. If you want the link, I'll send it to you. Uh, Here, let's see. I could probably get it for you guys right now because I have like a what's it called, like a bonus or a promo that you guys can get. Like we both get a bonus promo if you use this link. But yeah, if you're located somewhere out of California, then I would just use the better options that are out there. You can just look up like a sports book, but usually like MGM or Caesars, those are like the best ones. It's so weird. I don't know why they don't want to. Well, I mean, I know why. Obviously, there's always money involved, but it's annoying because we've been trying to pass sports betting here in California for so long, and there's always like this like there's always like resistance from like the Indian casinos and stuff like that because they want the money, of course. So it just so they're just not they're not able to pass um sports betting here. Eventually, it's going to pass. I mean, I don't understand why it wouldn't be because I'll post the link right there. Yeah, I don't know why it wouldn't be because sports betting is pretty much legal everywhere. Like you could do horse betting here, but in California it's so weird. Like if you go to the casinos here in California, like you can't play craps. If you guys understand, if you guys know what the game craps is from the casino, they have weird craps. It's like card craps, or they have dice at some casinos, and you throw the dice, but they don't even work. They still flip these cards over. And then there's some casinos where they don't let you play blackjack, which also doesn't make sense to me. Like they're starting to outlaw blackjack here. California is such a weird state, guys. Like if it wasn't for the great weather here, I wouldn't live in California. But you can't beat California weather. It's like it's always nice here all year round. And the other place I would maybe live would be Hawaii. But if you guys remembered when I used to travel to Hawaii like twice a year, when I trade there, you have to get up at like 3 a.m. So I couldn't do that. But yeah, the California laws are so weird. Okay, got you, Karen. Oh, you're actually in Jamaica. Okay. Yeah, so Bet US, there's a they're considered a an offshore, but they've been around. They're like the number two offshore broker out there. Or I guess sports book. There's another one, Bovada, which I used before. Those are the two that I would probably use, Bovada or Bet US if you're using an offshore. One thing that I also, oh, that's what I noticed too. So I realized that there's prop firms for for sports betting too. So I signed up with this one prop firm. I'm gonna see if they're legit, and if they are, then I'll let you guys know. But there's like three different prop firms that are available as well. Sports betting, like surprisingly, it's really big in like Europe. There's a lot of different European companies that allow for sports betting and stuff. But here in the US, there's only like a couple, and there's like very high restrictions depending on where you live. Steven, let me see. She's kind of bet on Steven to lose. Yeah, Steven said, I know for gold, if I use max slots, you can bet that I lose. Um, yeah, you could trade on either team, Steven. Like, for example, if you wanted to bet on like, I don't even know who's playing today, but if you could bet the money line on either team, and usually the odds are going to be pretty balanced depending on if it's like a huge difference between the teams. So, like, if you wanted to bet for the Lakers or for Golden State, or I forget where you're located, you're on the East Coast. So if you wanted to bet on the Knicks or whatever teams over there, you could you could bet on the opposite team. So it's like trading. It's like that's why what I like about sports betting is that it's kind of similar to trading. It's like you're taking the buy side or the sell side. But then my bot provides like some pretty good probabilities to determine which side has a better chance. Yeah. All right, guys, we kind of went off topic there for a little bit. Let's see, we got price kind of pushing up right now as we speak. So there's nothing to take here right now, guys. Here, let's see. So what I would be looking for here personally, I'm gonna clean this up a little bit, or no, I'll just draw another structure right there. Okay, so what I was looking for here is if price does flip back up, which direction would I, or when would I look to get into here? So we have a couple points of structure right here. What I would probably look for is if price pushes back up and it closes above this area right here, I think this would be a clean area for entry. So what I'd look for is for price to break above this point, retest here, and then push up higher. So my limit order would be right here at like 527, and then probably ride this up from there. Maybe. Because see how we have this space right here? This is zone to zone trading. Like if you guys are not familiar with zone to zone trading, this is one of the older strategies that I applied. So a long time ago, I used to call signals. If you guys remember, I called signals on the 4 hour time frame for Forex. This is the strategy I used to use. I would wait for price to break past structure, retest, and then push to the next structure. It works on different time frames. It's just on the 4 hour is easier because the candles didn't close so quickly. Like for example, here you have to be paying attention. If this here closes above here, you got to be ready to put your limit order to wait to fill. But that's basically what I'm looking for here. So we have a buy signal, we have price pushing up, we have a lower low with the green candle. We have a lot of confluences right here, right? So with those confluences, I'm going to look for price to possibly push above here, provide me opportunity for it to get in, and then ride this up basically to the next zone. So I'll be watching it right here. 527 is like where I'm looking to maybe get into if I could get into that point. So again, this is with my prop accounts. I'm not necessarily looking to get into this with the hedge accounts. The hedge accounts are done with for the day because the daily entry came up already. But again, what I'm looking for at this point is I'm looking for price to break and close past this structure, retest it, then push up higher. It's an old structure, but it's still usable because if price does pull into this range, pushing between this area. And what I'll do here is if price reaches a certain point, so for example, we have an 80-point target. If it reaches like 40, I'll probably move my stop loss in profit. But we'll see from there. Yeah, iPhone said California has too many politics. No way I could live there. They do. They do. I've been in California my whole life though, so I'm used to it. Um, yeah, it's there's way too many politics here. I mean, there's so many the laws in California are so interesting. It's like a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. Like for me, before becoming a full-time trader, I was an attorney, so I understand the laws here. Um, and I own guns and stuff. Like guns in California, I don't know why people in California like hate guns so much, but like the laws here for guns are so crazy. It's like I have a license to carry a gun, so I carry a gun wherever I go. And they make it so strict in like certain areas. So it's yeah, it's weird. It's just weird. And you can't even defend yourself in your own home. It's so dumb. Like if someone was to break into your home and they and they didn't have a weapon or that you didn't have like you didn't know you were gonna get killed or something like that, you couldn't really harm the person that was breaking into your home and robbing you and stuff. It's crazy. All right, so we have price kind of breaking past this level right here at 527. What I'm looking for is for price to break and close past it. So because this right here spiked past it, I don't like this right here. I need price to really push above it now and close above this higher high. Like close above here, come back, retest, and then push back up higher. So no entry right there. Jesus said he used Bovada for sports betting in California. Yeah, if I have any problems with Bet US, I'll probably move over to Bovada. But right now, so far, I'm pretty good with Bet US. Asisha, did you see that dude beat Kobe's record today? Yeah, I saw it yesterday. It was crazy, right? He's I think with the record, he lines up with like what do you get, like 88 points? Oh yeah, yes, Asisha, yeah, 88 points. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy to see that. Um, Daniel said MPSPA full TP. Oh, nice. Yeah, there's an MPSPA right here that Daniel caught. Solid work on catching that right there, Daniel. I was kind of looking at that too when it came up, but so the thing with the 1 minute that I don't really like or that I always have issues with are the red flags, right? Because there was a red flag right there. Was there a higher high there too? Let me check. No, there wasn't a higher high because there was a lower high right here. So there couldn't be a higher high. Okay, yeah, no, it looks like a good setup. The only thing here that I would have been concerned about mainly was that there was two sessions in the way, right? I think there was one, yeah, so there's a red session right there. There was a London low and then a New York low right there. So again, this is the setup that I was just talking about, guys. We got about 20 seconds left on it. I want this to push up past this higher high, like create a new higher high. 727 looks like it's going to be the setup right there. The volatility is too low right now, guys, so I don't think I'll be able to get into this one. Just really hoping to jump into something here. So if you guys want to jump into this, this could be a possible entry for the zone to zone, the push up right there. I'll watch. I'll maybe get into it late, and then I'll just take it for a partial. See, this is what I was worried about. That's why I wanted to break and close past the higher high because it would create new structures, but right here it didn't. It was the volatility is too low, so it just might chop up around this area for a bit. Just go back and forth. What I would wait for here, so I'm gonna wait for it to happen. But what I would actually like to see here is a break and retest off the higher high. So I want this higher high to be established. I want it to create a new low, come back above it, and then push right there. So I could still get to that zone to zone, to this next level, but my entry would be a little bit higher. So this could still push up. I mean, it's looking pretty good. It's rejecting off that support level right there. Well, resistance turn support. But again, I need to see a new low here so I can see this establish this higher high, break and retest, and then push back up to there. Right. I just need to see some sort of continuation here. If this pushes past it now, it's not going to mean it's not going to work because the new higher high just gets established right there. But there goes the setup that I was just talking about. It's here, I'm curious to see if it pushes through. It probably will push through, but it did exactly. So I actually mentioned this pattern from way down here, right? So I mentioned right here, I said I was waiting for price to break past this structure here so that I can look for it to push back up to here for a zone to zone. You guys can see the zone to zones here worked out perfect. So there's another zone to zone right here, and it basically pushed to the next zone. See that zone right there? It's a very simple strategy. It's just like you're literally just trading from zone to zone. Because what happens a lot of times here, and I'll just clean this up a little bit. What happens a lot of times here is that price will tend to just retest zones, right? If I turn off the indicator right here, see where price went. So look how price was ranging right here. It broke below the zone, right? Where did it push to? The next zone. And price broke below the zone right here. And where did it push to? The next zone, right? There was no breakdown here. So obviously there's no zone push, but then price pulled back above the zone. See this green candle right there? And then where did it push from there? Back to the previous zone. So the zone to zone trading here, it makes logical sense because typically that's where price likes where it needs to go anyways. It typically goes from zone to zone. So again, right here, for example, price broke the zone, pushed to the next zone. And then again, right here, price pushed past the zone. And where's it going to push to? The next zone, right? It's pretty simple. It's a lot of the most simple strategies are like the best strategies. You just have to understand how to apply it and like when to apply it. So again, I was looking for this entry right here. The problem with this is that we had a higher high right here, and I actually wanted price to establish that so I can take it up higher. But we just never got that because this higher high here has just been getting pushed up higher. So that was initially right here. but it just kept getting pushed higher because there's no retracement. So if you guys are not familiar with this strategy, go back to my old strategies. It's called zone to zone. It's a very simple strategy. I used to apply it on the 4 hour time frame, but it works on all time frames. You can do it on the 1 minute, 4 hour, 1 hour, whatever it may be. The concept of zone to zone doesn't change. You just mark up different zones on different time frames. Before I used to mark up the zones on all the time frames. So I'd go from the daily down to the 4 hour. That's why I have all these weird time frames here, right? Because I went from the daily 8 hour, 4 hour, 2 hour, 1 hour, 30 minute, 15 minute, 10 minute, and then I would take my executions on the 5 or 1. Um, the classic strategy. It's just basic price action with rejections or basically break and retest off structure. Let's see, CJ over here mentioned. Yeah, so CJ said these are zone to zone entries I took so far today on my forward test account. Usually use them as confluence, but decided to take them individually. Yeah, so CJ over here actually took those zone to zone entries. So there's one right here from that lower point. CJ took it from here and wrote it up and then wrote it back down right here. So price broke above and then closed below here and then wrote it back to this area here. So CJ took this first zone to zone up here and then took another zone to zone back down here. So nice work, CJ, on catching that. And thanks to CJ. So if you guys want to thank someone for this, thanks to CJ, because I haven't looked at the zone to zone strategy in years. I think it's good that a lot of you guys are bringing back these older strategies because they work perfectly fine. It's just we've always kind of went for these smaller moves. Like I think the reason why we stopped trading the zone to zone is because we started taking the 10-point entries. But now that the market's so volatile, these bigger moves actually make more sense, right? The zone to zone entries, the high-low scalp break and retest, a lot of these limit order type strategies, they're working a lot better. So thanks to CJ for reminding me about this strategy. I built a whole signal service around this strategy. That's how good the strategy was. Um, and I'm glad that we're making full circle back to it. So yeah, thanks CJ for mentioning that because I'm going to keep using it moving forward, specifically on these like prop accounts. Maybe not for the hedge accounts, but yes for the prop accounts because it happens too quickly on the 1 minute. Let's see. Alad's asking, Sean, can you explain how to identify the zones in structure? You just turn on the SR indicator. That's all you do. You turn on the SR indicator, it draws the zones for you. So this zone over here started from here. What I did is I just outlined it. So it made it easier. Because what you can do is you can draw these zones and then you can just turn off here, I'll show you real quick. Like if you really wanted to have these zones up, you can just draw the zones yourself and then turn off the indicator because the indicator is messy. That's why I don't like leaving it on. But basically you would just draw your boxes over the zones like that. Like literally just draw boxes over it and then you turn off the indicator and now you have your zones all over the chart, right? And they're very clean zones. So what I used to do is every Monday, so right before market open on Monday, and let's go to the clean chart. I'll just show you how I did this here. I used to do this like every we used to have a live session every Sunday afternoon. So every Sunday afternoon when the market would open up, I would draw all my zones and then we'd use those zones for the entire week. Maybe I'll do that again moving forward, but I mean you guys can do it as well. So like for example here, I'll go to like Monday pre-market, right? I'll just replay to this area right here. And most of you guys know what I'm talking about because you guys have been around long enough to understand what I'm doing here. So like basically this is Monday. I would start on the daily time frame. I would turn on the SR indicator, SRV2, make sure it's a V2. So this is the SRV2 indicator. And basically what I would do is I would just open the indicator up and I would draw my structure. So I'd go and draw structure and then I would just leave them up all week. And then every morning I would just update them. So maybe I'll start doing this again because this is actually The problem with this though is that it gets kind of messy sometimes. Like if there's too many zones, it does get a lot of messy. So you have to be a little picky and choosy about which ones you want to mark up. But a lot of times they align with each other, so it doesn't really mess it up too much. I feel like this stuff brings back memories of CJ. We used to trade, I used to trade every day, like even on the week, not trade every day, but I'd come on every day on these live sessions to mark up structure. And you guys can see here, it's pretty simple. You just go down and you mark up structure. The problem is that on the 1 minute, it gets a little messy, but um like for example, like this right here is messy. You're just gonna have a bunch of zones. So you're gonna have to pick and choose which ones you want to use. Or else you're just gonna have a shitload of zones and you're not gonna have any areas to trade at, right? So, and I just want to show you guys an example of like how I did this. So 4 hours right there, 1 hour, and this will start to make sense once we kind of go forward. So there goes the 1 hour, 30 minute, because you'll see once you get to the 30 minute, a lot of these zones start to just they just start to overlap. But the cool thing is that you're not really using zone as like you can use the zones, but your target will be like the session high lows. So you're using these zones to identify the break and retest. Okay, so we pretty much have all of these zones here marked up now. Probably not going to go lower than the 15. It's already low at that point. So let's go back to the 1 minute. And then you can see here now that we have a ton of zones here, right? So for example, if you were to trade here on Monday, you look for price to kind of like, so there's an example right there where price broke and closed below the zone. So see how price broke below the zone right there? If we had a momentum signal, which we didn't, I wouldn't have taken that entry there, but if we did, so you could have rode this from this area down to this lower, and it just pretty much goes down to that lower zone. See, the entry could have happened right here. And you basically ride it down to the sessions below, like that. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. Or your price pulled up. So like at this point, you probably would have moved your stop loss and profit. I also wouldn't reach for 400 points. I'd probably go for like maybe 150. So I probably would have gotten out like way early right there. But yeah, if this is something that you guys want to look at, just go back to the videos, review the zone of zone strategy or the SR zone strategy. And yeah, see, I wouldn't really use these higher time frames because the zones are too far out. I'd rather just mark up the zones on the 1 minute because you could see the quicker breaking closes past them. So for example, right here, see this sell signal right here broke and closed past this 1 minute zone. Before we used to trade on the higher time frame, so that's why I would go on the higher time frames to mark up the zones. But because we were trading on this lower time frame zone over here, you don't really have to go on those higher time frames like we used to. So again, right here, there's an example. Price broke past the structure, and then I'd ride this down to the next structure, which would be down here. Or I'd kind of cap it at some point, like 80 points would probably be my target because I don't want to go too far out since I'm trading props. So right there, price would fill it, and then it'd go down to target right there. See where it pushed down to? It literally just pushed down to these lower zones right here. So yeah, it just makes logical sense like where price is pushing to. But okay, so that's just a quick just overview of like the older strategy that we used to apply, the zone to zone. I'm probably gonna keep applying it mainly for the 1 minute trades. Um, because they do go hand in hand with the high-low scalps, basically same thing. So let me check the chat real quick. Yeah, Daniel said kind of ignore them today since we pushed back and forth a couple times. Yeah, the market was super choppy, so the sessions over here weren't as strong as they normally are. So I think a lot of people kind of just ignore them and took the trades anyways. Yeah, CJ said you're more than welcome, Sean. You taught me and helped me a lot, so I'm more than happy to help. Yeah, no, definitely. Thanks for that. Um, all right, so we are getting closer to 8 o'clock, guys. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. The volatility here is pretty, I mean, it's pretty died out for the most part. So there's not really too much to take here at the moment. Yeah, there's not really much here to take. I was hoping I'd get into something here, but it's nothing at the moment. But okay, let's update this a little bit. We don't really have to update this because I'll still be looking at this. I probably won't be taking these liquidity grab type entries. I'll probably change this to zone to zone. Like as much as I like the liquidity grab strategies, I don't like taking mean reversion entries too much. I like going with the direction. So if you guys want to trade those liquidity grabs, I mean you can. The liquidity grabs are basically just opposite of zone to zone. Like there was a liquidity grab strategy right here. So broke below, faked out, retested right there. I'm just not really a fan of the mean reversion type strategies, unless it's an MPSPA. Here, let me check the other chat real quick. So let's see. Daniel said CPI today was hilarious. Price went both ways. Everyone cooked, sat out, was watching some live streams. Was CPI today? It was, right? Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's why I don't trade news like that, guys. So there's the CPI news right here. It spiked both ways, what Daniel mentioned. A lot of people like to trade it, but it's super risky. So like it's nice when it goes one direction, but right here it spiked back and forth 133 points. So yeah, you could have gotten spiked out whether you took a buy or a sell. Either way. Daniel said he was watching he's watching streams, watching people take those entries. Hey, what's up, Kenny? Sorry, I just saw all your messages right now. Yeah, Kenny said I can develop an app for this. Yeah, message me on Discord, Kenny. I mean, I'm happy to work with you guys. If you guys can help in one way or another, and you guys don't want to work with me on like one of my companies or anything like that, if you guys have any ideas, I mean, feel free to reach out. I have a lot of companies that I kind of work with, partner with, own, manage, etc. And I always have ideas too. So if you have ideas to make things more efficient, and you want to work with me and partner with me on something, I'm always open to business ideas, guys. If you guys have a good idea, I'm always looking to make more money. So like if you guys have an idea or you guys want to help improve on something or make things more efficient, I'm always, and it doesn't have to be trading, it could be anything really. Like I'm not limited to just trading. At this point, the main trading that I do is really just the hedge fund and trading with you guys here live. Other than that, I don't teach anymore. I don't sell anything for trading stuff. I make pretty good amount of money from just trading my own accounts and prop accounts and stuff like that from just trading that like I'm kind of branching out into other businesses, of course. So yeah, if you guys have business ideas, let me know. Um, I'm always open to talk business and see where we can go. Like I have a lot of things lined up for this year. Like I have a friend that's starting a peptide company, like an e-commerce online peptide company that I'm looking to partner with. I got the sports betting company that's kind of started off as well. I have the hedge fund. Cody Kai's still here, but we're not really accepting the clients. Yeah, I just have a lot of ideas. There's just a lot of things that I'm doing, and I'm always open to do more. So yeah, just message me on Discord, Kenny, if you want to talk about that. I'm not sure which app you're talking about, but yeah, if you want to help me develop an app and improve on something that I'm already doing, I'm open to it. Yeah, Daniel said, not gonna lie, trading is a good way to make money, but it's pretty boring. Doesn't really give you that founder excitement building something. Yeah, no, 100% Daniel. Because I've been trading for so long, guys. I've been trading for like 15 years. Yeah, it like you have to adapt with the market, but it's not really anything new, right? You're kind of just figuring out ways to make things a little better or to improve with the market conditions and stuff like that. It's not like you're building something new, unless I was to build a new trading company. Like if I had some idea to build something new with trading and whatnot, maybe. But I feel like with trading, you're kind of better off just making money from actual trading because I've done the mentoring route and I've done the teaching route, and that's like way more stressful than actual trading, honestly. You think about dealing with people usually, and it's not it's just the aspect of having to teach someone and them not getting it, and you having to like it's a whole mess. So, back then I used to mentor and teach, but I really don't like doing it personally. I don't like doing I'd rather build other businesses than teach trading and stuff like that. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock, guys. We got price pushing up. Again, it's breaking past structure right here. So if you guys are looking to get into this, this is another zone to zone entry. I mean, for anybody who's looking to jump into it, I probably wouldn't take it because the volatility is a lot lower. But it's looking like the buys here could kind of play through. There's a 10-minute buy signal, which is pending, 3-minute buy signal, which is also pending, um, and also an MPSPA, or I mean, an MPS V2. Yeah, there's a lot of confluences right there. See, the problem is it's pushed up so high now. Actually, so there's another zone right here. It's a little tricky. So with this entry right here, this could be a possible retest of this area. The problem with it is that it's at the sessions. So the entry right here could actually happen a little lower or a little higher at 638. If you want to get in lower, you can get in from right here, 622. Um, yeah, it's retracing back. Here, I'll see maybe I can ride this up for like maybe a few points if it does swing back up from here. I'll watch it, kind of see if it pushes back, if it bounces off. If it fails to swing back above, then probably not, because this candle's too big. Let me measure the candle real quick. I mean, it was like a 50-point candle at 8 o'clock, and it's just a huge, huge fake out right there. Again, this is another reminder of why I don't trade after 8 o'clock, because I mean, look what happened there. A lot of manipulation here at 8 o'clock. It pushed up just to basically lure in the buyers, and then it pushed right back down to fake people out. Let's see. Paul said, "Hey Sean, let everyone know that I'm fine. In addition, tell them that we, my wife and me, and your son, Paul, you can't forget your son, not just you and your wife, are considering moving to Utah in the summer." All right, yeah, so Paul's doing good, guys. I know some of you guys were wondering what was going on with Paul. Paul just decided to stop trading for a bit. It was just messing with his mental. We talked about this yesterday. Trading's a mental game. So the thing is, like, Paul just wasn't there mentally, so he needed to take a break and step away from trading. Maybe he'll come back at some point, but yeah, Paul said that he's just stepping away from trading for a bit. He's still hanging out with us here on the live, but he's just not trading. Um, and him and his wife may be moving to Utah in the summer. So yeah, I think that's a good move for you, Paul. Get away from those storms and hurricanes. I forget where you're located. I think you're in like South Carolina. So yeah, you don't have to worry about those hurricanes and stuff and the storms. But yeah, Paul just wanted to give you guys a heads up, a little update on his life. So it's good that you're still on here, Paul. And yeah, hopefully you hang out with us a little bit longer. Anyways, there's no entries here right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat and we will continue. Let's see. Fire Learner is asking, what app would you recommend using if I'm from Canada for sports betting? Um, I mean, if you're from Canada, you could probably use Stake, right? Because that's what like Drake and like a lot of these other people, influencers, recommend. If you're in Canada, I think you have more options. Or I might be wrong. I personally don't know. So in Canada, if you can use Stake, I'd probably use Stake or Kalshi. Kalshi is not available in California. but there's a lot of options. Or if you have a real sports book out there, I would look into it. I'm just not familiar with like what's available or what works in Canada. And I don't know if Canada's like is like here in the US where it's kind of weird, where like one state you can't do certain things and other states you can. So yeah, I would probably look into it. But if you have like a real sports book, like an MGM or a Caesar sports book, I would use that. But I think Stake and Kalshi is pretty cool too, because yeah, it's very similar, but it's like widely used. Yeah, CJ said glad to know Paul's doing okay. We wish him the best, whether he trades or not. He'll always be part of the K2 fam. Yeah. So I think Paul will probably return once the bot is released. I think the problem with Paul is the same problem that a lot of people have. It's like it's not the trading, it's really the person, right? It's the person executing the trades. So like Paul, he just wasn't able to stay true to the plan, right? He just overtraded, revenge traded a bit, ended up blowing his accounts. It happens. It's very common with everyone. But I think once Masij releases the bot to everybody, um, he'll be able to trade because he can take himself out of that equation. I think that's a problem with a lot of people. You like the problem with trading is that a lot of times the trader is the problem, right? It's not the strategy, it's not the market, it's the trader. So so you just got to keep that in mind, right? So I think, yeah, once the bot is released to everybody, it's going to help a lot because you don't have to do anything. You kind of just turn it on and then you turn it off, versus you having to wait for these entries to set up and then you miss the entry and you revenge trade and it just becomes a whole mess, right? So there's another possible high-low break and retest setting up right here. Not a high-low break and retest, a possible zone-to-zone entry. Problem is that we're right at the session, so we have the New York. If I take off this box right here, so you see the red line or the green line, we have a London high right or London low here, and we have the New York low right here. So not the best area to trade in, but if you are looking to take a high-low break and retest, or not really high-low break and retest, a zone-to-zone entry, it'd be a retest of this level right here and a push down to this level right here, if that's what you guys are looking for. Yeah, yeah, no, you guys do have a lot of options, Fire Learner. When I was in law school, my roommate, he's from Toronto, and he used to do a lot of sports betting too. Um, yeah, there's a lot of options out there. So I would say you just hop on a ChatGPT, right? Go to ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT what are the best, most reliable, legitimate sports books in Canada, depending on where you're located, and you'll be able to find a good list. So. Yeah, hopefully you find. I mean, there's not a lot of. I mean, there's a lot of bad ones, but there's if you use one of the big name ones, you shouldn't have too much of a problem. It's really using the smaller offshore ones that cause issues. Okay, guys. So let's see. Brev is asking if I have a strategy write up for zone to zone. Not at this moment. Or maybe let's see. Let's check the strategy videos real quick. I'm sure we have one. I just don't remember where or when because. It's an older strategy. But let's see. I'm pulling up the course real quick. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so here's what the course looks like. Oh, and this is pretty cool too. So I forgot to mention this. I'm gonna mention this to Masij. So my buddy, well, yeah, my friend from college who's also in Cody Kai and K2, he created this thing that's pretty cool. Like he did this with Claude, where it's like it gives you all the market data. It's pretty crazy. You just click the button there and gives you all the data. So it shows you like all these signals and stuff. I don't know. I haven't really looked at it enough. I totally forgot to show you guys this morning. I just had a lot of stuff going on, but there's a lot of crazy. It's pretty cool. He created this through cloud, and I'm gonna create my own too. This is like a super trend thing, and you can kind of use it across different assets. It's actually really cool. It's crazy what you guys can do with AI, guys. So like I talked about this before. If you guys have not started using AI or you guys haven't figured out how to use AI, this is like look how cool this app is. It's not even an app, it's just an HTML. And then you pull this and it doesn't even pull it doesn't really use API, it just kind of pulls the data. So I'll try to look into this and I'll explain it more to you guys tomorrow. But this is pretty cool where it shows you like right here, this is like a wide spectrum of like all the main assets, like crypto, SPY, VIX, QQQ, etc. I'm probably gonna create one where it's like YM and Q, like all the stuff that we actually use. But it's pretty crazy. Like it's very intuitive for like confluences and kind of creating a bias in the market. Yeah. So again, he just sent this to me yesterday. I didn't really get a chance to look at it, but it's pretty cool. You can look at the sentiment. You can look at the all-time highs for like different structure. You can look for squeeze where price is kind of chopping it. It's about to break out. Price accumulation, conflict cycle, etc. Yeah, AI is crazy, guys. It's getting better every single day. Like we couldn't make something like this like months ago. Now it's like you just put in a prompt and it gives you a whole dashboard of everything. It's nuts. Anyways, back to the strategies over here. So, Rev, let's see if I can find it. It was one of the older strategies. So I know we have videos on it. I just don't know exactly where because it was one of the main strategies at one point. Let's see if I can find it down here. SR rejection scalp. No. Breakout. No. Yeah, I don't know. CJ, do you know if there's a video? I know there's a video for, I just don't know where it is. Um, because I have so many videos here. Oh, here we go. K2SR zone trading strategy. Yeah, so just go over here to the course, Rev. It's the SR zone trading strategy. Recommend follow 2.0 version above. I mean, I got so many videos here. Let me look up SR. Okay. Okay, CJ, yeah. So CJ said watch the mentoring session from October 12th, 2022. Okay, thank you, CJ, for that. I'll probably make another video at some point, but the strat, it's crazy that the video is from 2022, right? So we were applying that heavily back in 2022, so that's about 4 years ago. Cool. Yeah, CJ said my advice to Paul and anyone who's struggling is use your downtime to study the KT strats front to back until they become ingrained in your memory. Yeah, it's super simple. I mean, it's super simple once you actually get it down. And then also from October 17, there was a time period, I think it was October of 2022, where we applied the zone to zone a lot. And I had a lot of mentoring sessions where I took like 3 hours of just explaining it. I mean, there were times back then where we had like 5 hour mentoring sessions. All right, guys, it is getting late. I gotta go check on Alina. She's like knocked out right now. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Unfortunately, no entries for me today. That zone strategy hit, man. I'm like, fuck, I should have taken the entry. It was so good. So look at this, broke below structure, retested, came right back down to the next zone. So the zone to zone is something I'm going to be moving forward with a lot because I do like using limit orders, and this is actually it makes a lot of sense logically. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to Okay, Rev, sorry, you just stepped away. So just check the chat real quick, and then basically what CJ mentioned is review the mentoring session from October 12th, 2022 and October 17th, 2022. The other video you can watch is on the course. If you scroll down, it's called the SR Zone Trading Strategy. So just go to the course, scroll down. It's one of the very older videos, but it'll be down here. K2 SR Zone Trading Strategy. So this will give you the actual strategy, and then the mentoring sessions will give you like the examples because we have like there's a ton of different videos and variations to look at. But all right, guys, I think that's gonna be it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Again, there's another zone entry right here. If you guys are looking to get into it, you can ride this down right here for 60 points. 60-30 right there. But all right, guys, I'm done for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, I will see you guys here tomorrow.